here, actually, we need the kind of person, Dr. Johnson, you mentioned.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of person, to educate you.
Yeah, sure.
You know, I think you're the one, inspire young people here
Sure.
too,
Yeah.
Yeah. So city has been, grow, and then I can see there's sign of, shalom, peace in
Yeah.
here. But there is a probably maybe sign of decay too.
Yeah, it's.
If you maybe
I try to put my finger on this.
yeah.
And like if I were young and I became mayor today, what would I do? And
Yeah.
that's sort of sometimes I
Yeah.
run that through my head. But 2-3 things. Number one, we are very close to Edmonton,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, Leduc and the industrial area,
Yeah.
they create a lot of jobs there, eh?
Yeah.
Like when I was on council, the 3 of us went to Ontario, and we convinced Home Hardware to come and build in Wetaskiwin.
Oh.
So we met with the head honchos down there,
Yeah.
and said, rather than build in Edmonton, we have a railway track where you'd like to
Yeah,
build,
yeah.
and we convinced them to come here, and so that was a great move.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You create a lot of jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we thought, the 3 or 4 of us that went there, we thought that now that we've got this here, there'll be other industries that will want to come here, like people that supply Home Hardware with stuff. It didn't happen for some reason or other. But anyway, that was a major thing, is to get Home Hardware here. And that is sort of the problem today, is we don't seem to be able to attract industry to create jobs. That's a real problem.
Yeah.
As I say, and we have to compete with the industrial area at Leduc and South Edmonton, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So you really got to get lucky to get the right industry to come here.
Yeah.
The other thing is, like I know from what I hear anyway, and I'm pretty sure, like our taxes are pretty reasonable here for industry, but the people just we can't seem to get them to come here. And as a result, our population isn't growing.
Stay there, 12,000 people. Yeah.
And like you can tell now by the way the schools are reorganizing, where they've got K-8 now as opposed to K-6 and junior high. Their grade 9s are going to the high school now, and so you're going to have K-8, and there's going to be no middle school or junior high school, and so that indicates that the school population is dropping as well.
Yeah.
And and that's a tragedy, because we need young people.
Absolutely. We're losing young people. Frankly speaking, they wanted to go living in Redu.
Like if you want to have, your service clubs, as you and I know, if you want them to be successful, you've got to have some young people that want to
absolutely
do things.
Exactly.
And make the community better, etc.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's a challenge.
Just one more question. Do you think, because you have been here, many years, and then you know that what's going on Redu and what's going on Camrose?
Yeah.
And the Camrose is a little bit far from the Edmonton. Almost same distance as we have here.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm more accessible. Wetaskiwin more accessible to Wetaskiwin City, but Camrose is growing.
But again, from what I understand, a lot of seniors.
Oh, okay, a lot of seniors.
And that's what we have here too. A lot of seniors move in here because it's a nice, quiet community.
Yes.
And safe. And so
it is true.
Yeah. And like over the last few years, I've met quite a number of people that have moved from Ontario because they have children living in Edmonton or in Calgary, and so they don't want to be next door to their children, but they want to be in a place where they can go visit, etc.
Yeah.
And so we get quite a number of those type of people.
Yeah.
And I've met a few of them. And there's nothing wrong with having older people in your community,
not at all.
But they're not necessarily interested in getting into service clubs or being involved with things. They just want to take their life easy. And that's part of what is nice about this place. If you're a senior, yeah, you can have a pretty nice life here,
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
accessibility. Eh?
Yeah,
You don't have
exactly.
far to go to the grocery store.
Yeah,
You know,
everything is here.
Everything is here. Eh?
Yeah.
And you don't have to drive long distances.
No, no,
That's
no.
really crucial.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Do you think what kind of practice people engage in this city? What kind of core practice do you think people engage? For example, what kind of holiday they celebrate, and then there's a Christmas, a Secret Santa.
Yeah.
Kind of what kind of practice do you think people engage?
Oh, I think that like tomorrow will be a good example. We're
Local
going to have a
crowd.
parade and
Yes.
that type of thing. There'll be all kinds of people go to the Lions breakfast tomorrow morning, and the church is having a lunch, and there'll be lunches, and the parade, and so people like to come out to that. I've known the parades in the past. All kinds of people like to come out and watch the parade, and I think those kind of things are important to them. When you have that trade show in the spring, there's lots of people go to that, just to go there and see what's going on. The most amazing thing, and I worked very hard to raise money for the pool, but you'd be amazed at how many seniors are taking advantage of that pool.
Yeah.
Like my wife and I go there 3 times a week, and there's 20 to 30 seniors that go there 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
And use it.
Oh, absolutely.
And there's all kinds of seniors that go in the lazy river. They take their wheelchair and park it, and then they go in the lazy river. And so that has really caught on, and the people really appreciate having that particular facility.
Yeah, with you.
Gosh, yes, for sure.
Yeah.
And,
buy the leg. You buy the
and
leg.
then, like last week, we had that arts council out there.
Yeah.
And there was all kinds of people came out there.
Yes, enjoying the nature.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was there watching, and yes, I was amazed at how many people were there.
Yeah.
Like parking, and it was difficult to park, but it was good to see that people came out to support that type of venture. Eh?
Yeah, exactly.
And of course, then the other thing is our museum.
One of the best museum.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that brings an awful lot of people into our community.
Yeah.
Talking about bringing people into the community, the aquatic center, 287 kids came in here 2 weekends ago for the aquatic competition. Eh?
Wow.
And of course, as it turns out, quite often our kids did very, very well because we have a very good swim instructors, and
and hockey team is great too here.
And in the hockey,
Yeah.
the people really supported the Icemen last year. It was great. That's our hockey team.
Oh, this is our DNA,
Yeah, for
identity.
sure, yeah. And they have worked hard to get people to come out.
Yeah.
They charge $5.
Yeah.
Where can you go watch a hockey game for $5?
Oh, we have the $100 for for watching NHL.
And the people are really supporting that.
Yeah.
And so are the business people. They're supporting them. Eh?
Yeah.
Like there's all kinds of businesses that put money
exactly.
up for the hockey
Absolutely,
team. And that's
absolutely,
great. Eh?
Yeah, great. What about institution? What kind of institution we have, in here, and then how they shape the city? Do you think, and then how they, shape their identity? We have a recreation center. People really enjoy and they appreciate. I've never been there yet, but my study gonna be done, and I will go. And then definitely, I see my parents who living in Korea. They go recreation center and they spend the morning with there, and then they have a kind of there is meeting place.
Yeah.
Go there, meet people, talk there, and then spend their morning with the friends over there. Very important here. And we have a lot of parade. People can go and watch. By the lake, and Rotarian we offer Jubilee Park. So there's another place people can go and they enjoy nature and then friendship. But what kind of institution we have?
Well, I tell you what. The Salvation Army
Yes.
is certainly one of the institutions that people feel very strongly about. Now, that doesn't mean hundreds of them come to the Salvation Army, but they support it. And I see what happens here. The churches, there's lots of churches in this town, and the people go to their church. That's a very important thing. And you want to know what other institution that draws a lot of people on a regular basis? Tim Hortons.
Yes, Tim Hortons meeting place.
It's a meeting place. I go there every morning. And
Meet with the people.
well, there's dozens of people that I get to know, and it's not always the same people, but I notice there's a number of ladies. They come there every morning, and sometimes there's 4, sometimes there's 6 or 8 ladies, and they meet there every morning. And I think what a wonderful thing for these ladies. They're elderly ladies, and their husbands have all passed on, and they come there and visit. It's wonderful. So I don't know whether you call Tim Hortons an institution, but it certainly does.
Oh yeah.
It certainly does draw a lot of people.
When you're understanding, I'm pretty sure it is in our term. I believe it's a meeting place in kind of institution.
Oh, yeah. And I assume that like A&W and the other places attract their people as well.
But Tim Horton, when they, a really crowd, and then we can feel comfortable and sit there and talk with people, meeting place.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, great. The very last question. Do you think of what how our city and neighborhood define success? For example, there are a lot of things we wanted to do. In order to successful city. For example, we want to bring justice in here, and then we want to give them kind of good understanding about what the meaning of the good life. People now the young people doesn't have a good conception. As maybe you are early 20 or early by 30. People just want to go in the city and then doesn't care about they haven't got a maybe part of the moment think about their life, how gonna live my life. They don't have a kind of understanding about this. So I think the city can offer a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah. So how do you think in a city, in neighborhood, even neighborhood actually define the success? So offer people can understand what the meaning of a good life.
Yeah.
So then the city can promote God's vision for the future. I believe they're gonna shape people's imagination as well. Because when you come here, you have imagination.
Yes.
About the city.
Sure.
That's what you want to go. You went to Ontario
Sure.
and then talk to hard drive and bring them here. You have a kind of imagination. But so I believe in city, and also myself in the neighborhood, we can promote the vision.
Sure. I think back, and one of the things I talked about when I was doing the interview for the city is that I taught an awful lot of kids. And I'm so proud of what the educational system has done for people in this community. I look at the guys that own plumbing businesses and electrical businesses and things like that. They all went to school and they've got a successful business. And I guess what the city needs to do is to encourage these businesses, to reach out to young people and say, look, let's make sure they get a chance to go to NAIT and work their way into getting their certificate. Like Manluck, that's a big business there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And kids start working there at a young age, and then eventually they go and get a degree or whatever and come back and work here. I think that we have to really promote the type of businesses that we have in this community, and that there are opportunities, to get a job here and work. That's pretty crucial. To give the kids, the young people, an idea of what they can do. Right? Like, the big city sounds glorious and all that kind of thing, but to stop for a minute and have a look and say, what could I do here? What kind of a living could I make here? And you want to be a millionaire? Well, that's one thing. Do you want to have a good life? That's another thing.
Different thing.
Yeah. So you got to choose which way you want to go on this thing. And I often thought to myself when I was halfway through my teaching career, I could have done something else and I would have been very wealthy. But I didn't realize how wealthy I was until I retired. And I have a pension. And I have so many young people come up and say hello to me and say, oh, Mr. Milter, how are you doing? And I can't remember their name, but
they recognize you.
They recognize me, and they often say they really appreciate that the association that I had with them, and all kinds of young business people. Well, they're not young anymore, but they're all good friends of mine. yeah, it's the good life,
Yes.
and I've had a good life here.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. Yeah. Thank you
You're welcome.
so much.
I hope I